Stop calling the bare minimum love. Just because someone shows up occasionally does not mean that they love you well. And just because you feel attached does not mean that you're being valued. A lot of us are not confused about what we are experiencing. We are conflicted. There is a conflict between what we feel, what we hope, and what we know. Because deep down, we know when something is off. When the effort is inconsistent, we know when the care is conditional, we know when the respect or the regard are lacking. But we keep trying to make sense of what keeps hurting us. Hi, welcome to Real Life Reflections with Ishy, where I share real experiences, real growth, and real faith. Today, we'll be talking about why the bare minimum does not equate to love. Sometimes someone does a few good things and we hold on to those things. We replay those moments and we magnify them. We use them to excuse everything else. The inconsistency, the lack of effort, the disrespect, the emotional unavailability, the one-sidedness. And deep down, we know it's not right. But we tell ourselves, they're actually a good person. They didn't mean it. They're just going through something. They're just having a bad day. Or maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe if I love them better, they'll do better and love me back. And that is where a lot of people get stuck. Not because they can't see the truth, but because accepting the truth would require them to let go of something they hoped would become more than what it actually is. A lot of times we call the bare minimum love, or we mistake the bare minimum for love because of what it touches in us psychologically and emotionally. Sometimes it is because we are starved for consistency, so even a little bit of attention feels significant. Sometimes it is because we have been through so much neglect, disappointment, or rejection that when someone even does the most minuscule thing, or the smallest thing right, it feels much bigger than what it really is. It is magnified. Sometimes it's because we are attracted and attached to potential. We are not loving who they actually are, but we are loving who we hope that they will become. And sometimes, if we're being honest, it is because we haven't fully healed from things that we've gone through in the past. So instead of measuring love by truth, by consistency, by character, by peace, we measure it by intensity, by longing, by chemistry, and occasional effort. But intensity is not intimacy. Attachment is not alignment, and the bare minimum is not love. The Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians 13 that love is patient, love is kind, it does not dishonor others, and it is not self-seeking. That means that love is not careless. Love is not confusing. It is not selfish, and love is not dishonoring. And 1 Corinthians 14 verse 33 reminds us that God is not the author of confusion. So if it's draining you, if it is confusing you, if it is constantly making you question where you stand, stop calling it love. Scripture tells us in Proverbs 4 verse 23 that above all things we should guard our hearts because everything we do flows from it. And that means that your heart is not something that you should hand over casually, because when you keep accepting less, you start to slowly condition yourself, condition your heart and your mind into believing that that is all that you deserve. And that is how self-abandonment begins. Self-abandonment starts when you keep betraying what you know, ignoring what you feel, and silencing your discernment and shrinking your standards just to keep someone in your life and to keep someone happy. And this is where we have to ask ourselves some very hard questions. Like, why am I so willing to stay where I'm not being loved well? Why am I so quick to extend grace to everyone else, but I'm not honest with myself? Why am I calling this love when all it produces in me is anxiety and confusion and emotional exhaustion? Because sometimes the issue is not that we do not see the truth. The real issue is that we do not want to face what the truth will require of us. So how do we pull ourselves out of that? The first step is honesty. We start by calling the thing what it is. Stop romanticizing what's draining you. Stop labeling inconsistency as complexity. Stop calling emotional crumbs a full meal. The second step is discernment. Ask God for wisdom. Ask Him for discernment. Not so that He can tell you what you want to hear, but so He can show you what is true. And then the third step is setting boundaries, because you cannot heal in the same cycle that keeps reopening your wound. Sometimes love for yourself will look like distance. Sometimes obedience to God will look like letting go. And peace will require separation. And the fourth step is renewing your mind. You have to begin to replace in that lie that says, this is the best I can get, with the truth that says, I am worthy of being loved well. You have to condition your mind to let go of that scarcity mindset. Not because of pride, but because you are made in the image of God, and God did not create you to be repeatedly dishonored and emotionally depleted. The fifth step is surrender. Bring the attachment to God. Bring the grief to God, because you will have to grieve that relationship. Bring the disappointment to God. Bring the loneliness to God. Bring the yearning to God. Because if you don't surrender it, you will keep revisiting it. Potential is not love, and occasional effort does not equate to love. Confusion is not love. The bare minimum is most definitely not love. You are called to love, yes, but never at the expense of yourself, not at the expense of your peace, not at the expense of your dignity, and not at the expense of self-abandonment. So, stop putting people on pedestals for doing occasionally what they should be doing consistently. Ask God for wisdom, ask Him for discernment, and believe people when they show you who they are, because words whisper, but actions scream. Thank you so much for joining me today. I pray this word blesses you as much as it has blessed me. If this spoke to you, share it with someone you care about. I'll see you in the next reflection.